Heart attacks, certain cancers, osteoporosis, diabetes. The major diseases of our society may be caused in part by what we eat. One of the physicians who helped me to understand why is Dr. Michael Clapper.
I first woke up, so to speak, when I was working on the anesthesia service, learning how to put people to sleep. And I was seeing my patients for the next day's surgery for coronary artery bypass surgery in order to bypass clogged arteries in their heart. Because it was late at night, I drew the man's blood test, and when I took the blood to the laboratory and had it processed, I couldn't believe my eyes. Now, normally, this liquid layer floating on top of the blood clot is quite transparent. It's a yellow, but quite clear. You can see right through it. The blood in this patient's tube, however, was anything but clear. The serum floating on his clot was thick and greasy white. It looked like glue. In fact, it stuck to the sides of the blood tube when I shook the tube. I went back to the patient. I said, Mr. Phillips, did you eat before you came to the hospital tonight? He said, yes. I said, what did you have? He said, I had a cheeseburger and a milkshake. And when he said that, I realized that what I was looking at in his tube was all the fat in the beef burger, all the butter fat in the cheese, and the butter fat in the ice cream and in the milkshake. And all this fat had oozed out into his blood and actually turned his blood fatty. The next morning, we took Mr. Phillips to the operating room, and I put him to sleep, and the surgeon opened up his chest. And from these arteries, he began pulling out yellow, greasy deposits of fatty material called atherosclerosis.
This is a beautiful example of what atherosclerosis looks like. There it is. And I'm going to just gently tug on this now.
I love it.
It's a little hard to pull. Dr. Coupot, if you could give a little pull too. We'll see if we can get this thing out.
We are just holding our breath so that you will finish the case.
There it is. America's #1 killer right there before your eyes.
Good morning and welcome to Cincinnati Matters. I'm Regina Russo. How old are you? Really? Really? How old are you? The only real true way to know that is to find out the age of your cardiovascular system. It's kind of like a heart test. Joining me this morning is Dr. Harry Elwert and Dave Parker, and they're going to talk to us about something that's, I consider this very revolutionary. It's a test that you can take that indicates just how well your cardiovascular system is working and how old your heart is. And we have found out that people like Mr. Dave Parker, just amazing shape, okay, just lifelong athlete, and he takes a test and finds out that his heart age is almost double his age. And we find that with a few tweaking of your diet and some nutritional supplements, you can have the life and the quality of life that you have, that you want. Thank you both for joining me this morning. First, tell me how you came up with the idea of this circulatory test. It's called the DPA.
Well, actually, I didn't invent it, but for my doctorate in naturopathy, I decided to do my dissertation on heart disease because the more I researched it, I realized that in this country we're failing miserably. It's the #1 killer. 50% of all people that die will die from heart disease, and it's a silent killer. And it's costing the American economy $2 billion a day. So in my research, I discovered different technology, echocardiogram, EKG, all these different tests. And even these tests were not showing enough. Because if you think about it, Bill Clinton went through a series of tests.
Right.
Clean bill of health. 4 days later, chest pain, a quadruple bypass. What this machine can do is actually, chronologically, how old are you biologically, internally, it can actually show the age of your vascular system. Now, your vascular system is made up of large arteries, small arteries, and peripheral arteries. Your large arteries are the size of a garden hose, your small arteries are the size of spaghetti, and then the peripheral arteries are anywhere from hair-like to microscopic. But it's 100,000 miles. It is your largest organ. It's a living, breathing organ, and it's enough to go around the world 2.5 times. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So what this machine can do is actually, within 60 seconds, date your arteries and tell you how old you are internally.
That is powerful. Now, Dave, how did you get connected with Dr. Elwert to take this test?
Well, through a friend, Al Sewell, who's a marathon runner, health nut, and he trained me when I was playing baseball, so he made me aware of the machine and Dr. Harry here.
And were you apprehensive? Did you go in, or were you very confident? I'm going to take the test, no problem. I'm an athlete, it's all good.
Well, basically just like you said it. I felt like, oh yeah, I'm probably in great shape. I work out with a little regularity, and I played baseball for 19.5 years, played high school sports, so I figured, everything would be intact. Because,
quite frankly, professional athletes have access to all kinds of testing and doctors that indicate if they're in good shape or not.
Yes, that's every year you go through a little physical at spring training, and they check everything, and I've always came out good on those, so I felt like, hey, my system is ready.
Top notch, and certainly a test that takes only 60 seconds couldn't possibly find anything wrong with your cardiovascular system that quickly.
Well, that's what I thought, but I took the test, and I came out with a D as a grade, and my system was equivalent to the age of a 60-year-old man, and I'm 54, so, and feel a lot younger, but... Right. That kind of made me aware of the fact that, well, maybe I should start doing something about this.
Now, when you took the test, did you say, okay, let's take this again? Are we doing it on averages? This is maybe a bad day. Did I just get into a fight with the cab driver? What? Did you say any of those things? Or did you just take it as face value that a wake-up call?
Well, yeah, I took it as face value of being a wake-up call, and immediately I wanted to do something about it. And, there is products and nutrients out there and supplements that will help your circulatory system. And right away I found out about this product called L-Arginine, and I've been taking that, and I got tested today, and I'm graded a 38 as age, and a B as far as a grade on my circulatory system.
So you are really a walking testimony that it doesn't matter at what stage you are tested at, that it is reversible. If you're tested and you find out that your cardiovascular system is not working well, maybe even poorly, that there are things out there, there's natural nutritional supplements that are out there that can reverse it.
That's true. It is. I'm into preventive medicine anyway. I've always tried to stay healthy by using preventive medicine instead of getting to the point where you're sick and they got to do something medically about it.
And let's talk about that for a moment, because we are talking about kind of homeopathic, we're talking about natural ways of keeping your body in balance. And some people may look at that and say, hey, there's medicine out there, is medicine good enough to be FDA approved? It's good enough for me. Actually, I want you to answer that question when we come back, because I want to talk about how you don't have to be stuck on medicine to have the quality of life that you want, and this testing will help you live medicine-free, it will help you live a great quality of life, and also, I'm going to take the test and find out what my age is when I return. Welcome back to Cincinnati Matters. I'm Regina Russo. Joining me this morning is Dr. Harry Elwert and Dave Parker, and they're talking about this revolutionary machine that tests your cardiovascular system and that is enabling people to live the quality of life that they were meant to live. You were talking about being an athlete and preventive ways of making sure that you stay healthy. And this is a way that you can do that. By hooking up to this machine, and in 60 seconds, it actually reads the age of your cardiovascular system. Dave Parker took the test, 54, and it came out, did you say 60?
60, yes.
Took it again, came out as 38. But my question is, if you take this test, because a lot of people, they wait until they are in their senior years to start dealing with their heart issues, cardiovascular issues. You take a test and you're 70, 72. And it reads 92. What does that mean for you? Can you actually reverse that at that age?
Yes, you can reverse it, and you don't have to wait till you're 70. I tested my daughter. She's not overweight. She doesn't smoke. She's 21 years old, and she tested out at 64 years old. And I put her on a supplement known as Arginine, And there's tons of research, Nobel Prize-winning research, as far as what arginine creates nitric oxide in your blood. When that happens, it dilates your blood vessels, softens your blood vessels, melts away plaque, and relaxes your blood vessels. And within 2 weeks, she restored her down to a 30. 2 weeks later, she was back down to 20.
Arginine, and that's what you take, Mr. Parker, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm taking. I'm using that every morning. It takes about an ounce of liquid, and it goes straight in your system because it's liquid.
By the way, I have a couple of books here that I'd like to present. Dr. Louis Ignarro is one of the Nobel Prize winners that in 1998 on the discovery of the role nitric oxide plays in your blood. And in this book, he says you need to take at least 5 grams of arginine a day.
Really?
Yeah. He says everybody needs to take 5 grams of arginine. If you take anything less, we get about 3 grams in our diet. Now, arginine is just a simple amino acid.
Okay.
But we get...
Well, what type of food can you eat to get arginine in your diet?
Red meats,
okay,
shellfish, some nuts. It's in just basically, because it's a building block of protein, it's in all protein type food, but just trace amounts. So what happens is as you age, the nitric oxide level goes down, plus people that have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, smoke, or on prescription drugs of any kind, nitric oxide levels even plummet even more.
Really?
So by supplementing with 5 grams of arginine or more a day, you're boosting it, and it works miracles within your body. This other book is written by John Cook, who is chief of vascular medicine at Stanford. I worked with him for a year. And he also did studies on arginine with congestive heart failure, coronary artery disease, peripheral arterial disease, and had phenomenal results. So now he began, in fact, I know a gentleman in Boston who called me up. He was 90, listen to this now, he was 95% blocked in an artery.
Okay.
Okay, they were going to perform surgery, do a bypass. And per chance, he flew from Boston to California to be in a wedding. Just sitting at his table was John Cook. John Cook says, hey, stay out here 4 weeks. I want to, experiment and put you on this arginine supplement.
Right.
Flew back to Boston. They put in the catheter. He was 70% unblocked. They had to release him. Went home.
From the arginine?
From the arginine.
Arginine, which is a building block of protein. Right. I'm assuming in this liquid form, you can get it at the herbalist.
You can get it at the herbalist.
You can get it at G and Shirley's.
Yeah.
Any health food store.
Yep.
And it sounds like a miracle drug.
Yes, it does. Let me show you actually what it will do. Now, these are signs. I don't know where I should hold this up, but
right there, it's
okay.
fine, yeah.
These are signs of cardiovascular disease. 62 million people in America have cardiovascular disease.
Okay.
This is before and after eating fast food.
Okay.
Do you see your blood?
Yeah.
The difference?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want this because
no,
this begins to make your blood vessels sticky and things begin to stick and basically you have blockage. This is a normal blood vessel. You can see here one that's beginning to become blocked, and this is almost shut. This is what is known as arterial sclerosis, or the hardening of the arteries.
All right. And that's years of damage?
Well, not necessarily, because during the Vietnam War, they did autopsies on 19-year-old soldiers, and they discovered they had the arteries of a 70-year-old.
Really?
And that pertains to our diet, our Western diet.
So when people say that your health and your weight and maintaining it and living a healthy life, that 70% of it is really what you eat and what you put in your body, this is true.
This is true.
I mean, you could be a great athlete, as we see, and you've noticed we talked about a little bit before, those professional athletes, they work out all day long, they've got 5% body fat, but when they're not in a restricted diet, they eat terribly.
Oh, without a doubt. Most of your meals come, I know in professional baseball, we're eating at 11:30 at night, and 12 midnight.
I'm not looking forward to this test.
No, actually, you should look forward to it. You should look forward to it, not fear the results, because whatever the results are, that can be reversed. I am 51 years old. My test comes out with 25-year-old arteries. But I've been on arginine 3 years. Now, there's a doctor named Joe Pendergrass who's coming out with a book. He's a leading endocrinologist in this country, works with diabetic patients. He's 69 years old. He has an A on the test with 16-year-old arteries.
You're kidding me.
No.
And that not only does that bode well for you, your employer, because you're more productive at work, your family, your relationships, all around. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this great testing, where you can get tested, where you can buy arginine, and then, again, I'm going to take the test when we return. welcome back to Cincinnati Matters. Today we are talking about how you can reverse any damage that has been done to your heart because of the type of diet that you have that may have aged your cardiovascular system through a 60-second test that shows your true biological age through your cardiovascular system, and by putting yourself on a nutritional supplement called L-Arginine that can be purchased at any health food store that literally turns back your body clock. Right. Turns back your body clock. Dr. Harry Elward is here with us today, and you are going to be at the Herbalist this Saturday on Hamilton Avenue giving this test to people and explaining to them about this revolutionary test and how people can give their life back. Dr. Dave Parker, I know that you've been active with this, of getting the word out about this testing and about people needing to be proactive with their heart and their cardiovascular health, and you're getting the word out to the professional athletes and the former baseball players.
Yes, I'm right now working with baseball alumni to get the message out to our alumni association and ex-players as well as present players about this arginine, because you know, we all have similar problems after retirement as far as the injuries, diabetes from diet medicines that we had taken. Yeah. And arginine does a lot for that, you know, to get your heart and your circulatory system back running the way it should be.
The way it should be, and even better. Right. We're saving, you gentlemen are literally saving lives with putting this information out there.
It is definitely informing the public because heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, all these are silent killers. And so people are walking around and they have no clue. And men especially who do not go to the doctor until they're in total pain, okay?
Yeah.
They don't, you know, right. So this is a way, it is a non-invasive, which means it is completely painless.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm going to take the test, and I can't speak for 60 seconds while I'm taking this test because I have to be calm. So you're going to walk me through this.
Right.
All right. So
okay, you ready?
Sure.
Okay, give me your left hand.
Okay. I do.
I do. Very good. Okay, now rest that on your thigh.
Okay.
Just like that. Uncross your legs. Put those flat on the floor. Just breathe naturally. And let me make sure I have the... Okay. And we're off. Now, right now, what is happening is 10,000 volts is going through... No, I'm just kidding. Right now, what is happening is your left ventricular chamber of your heart is contracting. As it contracts, it is pumping blood out your aorta, your main artery, down to your fingertip and back. What this testing device, by the way, it's FDA approved, what it is actually doing, it's a plethysmograph, and what it is doing is measuring the velocity, the volume. It looks for, you know, blockage along the way, and it will print out a simple graph that I analyze, and I'll be able to tell you many things. I'll be able to show you if you're dehydrated or not. I'll be able to show you if you're anemic. I'll be able to show you if you have hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism. I'll be able to show you your heart is a conduction system if there's a atrial fibrillation or arrhythmia problem or heart murmur. But the most important thing is I will break down your small and large arteries and show exactly, as far as arteriosclerosis, the hardening of them, where they stand, and then I'll break down your small, large, and peripheral arteries, and we'll look at dilation.
If you had something that can kind of give you an idea of what your future health was,
right?
You know, and this does. And
oh, good.
I kind of relate it to, like, you know, having a train wreck in the future and knowing about it now. Well, I wouldn't be on that train, you know, because I knew about it prior to. And this gives the individual an opportunity to go out and improve their health, and kind of see in the future what some of their future medical problems would be, and you can prevent that from taking this test.
And if I may, the reason that conventional medicine is failing is conventional medicine treats the symptom, not the problem. A stent, an angioplasty, a balloon, a bypass, drugs to lower blood pressure does not treat the problem. The problem is the hardening of the arteries. So what is that, or the actual blockage? But what caused that blockage? What caused the hardening? They don't treat that. What they do is they temporarily put a Band-Aid on. You know, there's something called restenosis. When they do a stent, or they do a angioplasty, or they do a bypass, within anywhere from 60 days to a year, that blockage returns. So they didn't solve the problem. They just basically, you know, put a Band-Aid on it, so to speak. And the drugs oftentimes the prescription drugs have side effects that are worse than the illness itself.
You know what? What we're going to do is you're going to take a look at that.
Yes.
We're going to go through this in the break, and we'll come back and we'll tell you what the results are in just one moment. Welcome back to Cincinnati Matters. We've been talking all morning about a test that you can take that gives you your biological age, that lets you know how old you are, your cardiovascular system and your heart. Okay, you're walking around, you're 50 years old, but did you know that you could be walking around and you're on the inside, you're really about 60, 65. I had a girlfriend, I'm not even going to tell her name, she's so skinny and beautiful and everything. She's younger than me, I won't tell my age, but no, she's younger than me, she's in her early 30s, and she tested at 56. Your daughter, 21, tested at what age?
64.
54, you tested at 60. But now you're at 38, my friend, because of the magic of arginine, which you can buy as a nutritional supplement. Now tell me, at first I didn't want to take the test, and then I said, okay, great. 60 seconds, and it takes no time at all. You just clip that on your finger, and you sit there, and it registers everything that's going on the inside of your body.
Right.
And then what was the results?
Okay, these are the results. First thing we look at is called recognition, and the machine recorded 68 pulses, and your heart put out 67, so it missed one beat. So now if there was a fibrillation problem, a heart murmur, arrhythmia problem, this would show up here. If out of that you were 20% less, I would tell you to go see a cardiologist. Okay. Okay? So you're fine there. Okay. Next thing we look at is the ejection time. That's the left ventricular chamber as it contracts. The speed of that contraction is different than your pulse. We want it somewhere between 260 and 380. You registered at 320. So you're doing fine there. Okay. So everything was looking good. Your pulse rate, we want it somewhere between 65 and 80. You're at 76. Really? Yes. So you're doing fine there. Your pulse height, now this is measuring the volume of fluid in your body, your blood, your water, everything like that, is showing that you're a little bit dehydrated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not enough water this morning. Okay, but I knew that going into this test, and it picked that up. It picked that up. Wow. Now we get into what is known as arteriosclerosis, which is the hardening, the stiffening of the arteries. 90% of all disease is caused by that hardening, liver failure, kidney failure, blindness. And on a graph, there's two bumps that come down, and depending according to those bumps, if you let's see, where's that? Oh, I put it here. Okay. What do with it? I think, yeah, you just had it. Oh, is it underneath your... Oh, here it is. Thank you. But according to this, you are a B. You have a nice low, and it comes up to here. Oh, you see, now Dave at one time was a D. You can see both of them were equal here. Right. I have seen E's, I've seen F's, I've never seen a G yet. Okay. But an F, a person that is an F, they really do need to do something fast. Right. Okay. But you're a B. You're doing really good. Good. So, wow. Then it looks at the dilation of your large, small, and peripheral arteries. What that means is atherosclerosis, the blockage now. Your large arteries are fine. Your small arteries are fine. Your peripheral arteries are just a little bit blocked. And do you ever have cold hand, cold feet? Yeah, all the time. Yeah, all the time. That's the lack of circulation. The farther away from the heart, those begin to break down first. But all those can be reversed through arginine. Through arginine. The last thing it does is it grades you from A to G. Okay. And it gave you a B. That's pretty good. That's good. That's really good. Okay. All right. And then your age, it takes into effect your entire vascular system, about 100,000 miles, and it says that you're 38 years old. Right on target. That's great. You're right on target. Okay. That's good news. That is good news, but you can be better. I can be better. You can have the arteries of a 16-year-old. Because you have the arteries of a 25-year-old. 25-year-old at 51. At 51. And to be better... you don't have to get hooked on medicine. You can get a nutritional supplement called... a simple amino acid known as arginine. Known as arginine.